Your playlist is looking sad. And it could definitely use some improvement. But thankfully, that's what I'm here to do for you today. I've compiled 7 of the best tracks from last week, or as I like to call them, my smokers of the week. Starting off, of course, with the biggest song to drop last week, and that's J. Cole's Disc 2, Track 2, which looks like it's the first single from the long-awaited Fall Off album. And the track is basically just J. Cole telling the story of his career backwards, kind of paying homage to the Nas Rewind track. And the music video is in Rewind as well. The visuals are real dope as well. J. Cole starts the story at his funeral and ends at his birth, kind of a tomb to the womb, or however you want to put it. It was executed beautifully, and the lyricism, the writing on it is impeccable. J. Cole's pen is in top tier form, headed into the Fall Off, and we should have the Fall Off in our phones February 6th. Next up, we got Deante Hitchcock, Reminders, featuring Black, Childish Major, and Anna Fields. One of the main reasons why I mess with Deante so hard is that he is so easily relatable to everyday people. He might hit you with a flex bar every now and again, but for the most part, he just speaks to the struggle, you know what I mean, of the everyday people. And I think that's his real talent. And this track right here is just another example of that, done at a very high level. Deante and Black spit verses about the things that they deem important in life, their kids, their wifey, family in general, health, and as the title would suggest, those things serve as reminders to keep perspective throughout life. From a more sentimental joint to a more fun and celebratory track, I'm talking about Guapdad 4000, Champagne Showers. And like I said, this track is just fun, real throwback, kind of early 2000s vibe type record. If you don't know Guapdad, I think this is a perfect introduction to Guapdad. I think this gives you a perfect glimpse into what Guapdad is all about. Very hard to listen to Guapdad and have a bad time. Next, we got a track I was meaning to do a reaction video to. I'm talking about IDK, Life for a Life, featuring Pusha T. This track is hard, bro. IDK is an artist that he's kind of been on my radar. I have heard a few tracks of his here and there, but for some reason I never really dove in like that. But a couple days ago, maybe last week, he dropped off a little promo video for his upcoming album, which I think is called Even the Devil Smiles. Dope ass name. The promo video was him like teaching the people how to tie a tie or something like that. And you know, me as someone who grew up, you know, without a father figure, teaching them how to do that, that concept tying into an album really had me hooked. So I'm really excited for this upcoming album. And this, I assume, is a single that's gonna be found on that album. But like I said, this track is just super hard, and I never realized how similar IDK and Pusha T sound. Like, their cadence is very similar, but their tone is very similar as well. Maybe it's the Virginia connection, I don't know. But the track on first listen just sounds like some maybe ignorant, greasy street-ish, but if you pull up the lyrics or you know, sit down and you listen to it multiple times, you'll realize that it is on that greasy street-ish, but he's really touching on a lot of survivor's guilt or survival's remorse as well. IDK says in the second verse, if it ain't life for life, then every sentence light. Basically, you know, street-ish, eye for an eye, you know what I mean? If it's not eye for an eye, then it's no comparison. If you take one of ours, we gotta take one of yours, or the exchange doesn't make sense. Also, some wordplay, every sentence light. If it ain't life for life, if you take one of ours and I'm not taking one of yours, then whatever trouble I get into with the law isn't worth it. I might as well make that ish worth it. He also says, I wish I could change how my dudes like to live. The problem is the change ain't enough to pay the bills. So basically the wordplay there with change meaning money, but also change meaning act differently, move differently, grow, mature. Specifically here, he's talking about, I wish I could change how my dudes like to live. They're involved in the street ish, you know what I mean? And that's paying the bills. They're making money doing that street ish, you know what I mean? By, selling or robbing, by any means necessary, basically. The problem is the change, the difference that they're gonna have to make in their life that I'm trying to get them to make. The problem is the change ain't enough to pay the bills. Going to college don't pay no money. You know what I mean? That's a long-term plan. You know what I mean? A lot of these people that he's speaking to are thinking real short-sighted. You know what I mean? I love that. I love those bars. Then right after that, he says, so for what the ice worth, they gonna leave your body chill. Just some more wordplay, painting some pictures with some visuals. Bumping jazz while my girl clean the house. She keep it fresh. She don't know my dude's en route to leave a mess. Just more wordplay there with my girl cleaning the house, keeping my house tidy. You know what I mean? While my dudes that I was talking about before are about to make a mess. You know what I mean? Violently. You know what I mean is a good way to put it. Wish that I could change how they think, just like you said a few bars before. It got me stressed, cause they living inside of hell while my life is hella blessed. As I spoke on before, that survivor's remorse, cause they live inside of hell, as we were speaking before, that cycle of street life. They live inside of hell while my life is hella blessed. Some more wordplay with hell and hella blessed, just meaning, I think it's Cali slang, basically meaning very, very blessed. So my dudes live inside of hell while my life is hella blessed. As he's talking about earlier, a couple bars before, bumping jazz when my girl cleans the house. My house is beautiful. My way of living is beautiful. This rap thing has afforded me a beautiful life, but can't say the same for the people that he grew up with for the most part. Beautiful lyricism. And then obviously Pusha T went absolutely dummy, absolutely stupid. Can't remember the last time I heard a Pusha T verse without Malice. I was halfway expecting Malice to hop on this track and close it out, but just Push, and I'm absolutely fine with that. Like I said, Push went absolutely dumb. I don't know why they tried. There's no dry eyes after drive-bys. Knocking Buju Banton, boom, bye-bye. Buju Banton, legendary historic reggae artist. You Ussy dudes miscounting all them 9 lives, comparing it to Ussy Cat, begging for attention and mentioning me. Got your name penciled in, these guns ain't whispering. Get your name penciled in, guns ain't whispering. Lead, pencil, get your name penciled in, but guns also have lead as well. While my thumbs twiddling, pick an island, Gilligan. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to assume that those bars are directed towards Drake. I could go bar for bar this entire Pusha T verse. He went crazy on this verse. As I mentioned before, IDK is dropping a project on January 23rd called Even the Devil Smiles, and I'm super hyped to dive into a full project from him for the first time. Be on the lookout for some reactions and reviews from that album. Next up, we got some Jordan Ward, Champion Sound. This was my very first time, just like IDK, very first time checking out Jordan Ward. Shout out to Elsie, not Elise, who's on TikTok and just blowing up on social media, becoming a very important figure in hip hop media. So shout out to her for putting me on to Jordan Ward. But I was super impressed from what I heard just on the first listen before really even diving into the lyrics. I thought it might have been on some classic R&B-ish about a lover or something like that, but then I pulled up the lyrics and ran the song back again, and I realized that this track was an almost Kanye graduation-esque ode to his mom, who was diagnosed with and defeated cancer, bro. Which is just so fucking beautiful. Shout out to Jordan Ward's mom, bro. The hook keeps repeating, "You're a champion," which is just, you know, brings a tear to your eye, given the circumstances and the context of what the song is about. As I mentioned before, reminds me of some Kanye Graduation type ish. I think he had a song on there called Champions. That's probably why, you know, that's playing in my mind. But it's just sincere, vulnerable, very moving. I really love at the beginning of the second verse when he says, "While I was all out on them stages, my name ringing bells." You know, he's starting to get noticed, my name ringing bells. She was going through those stages of cancer, and I'm glad she rang the bell. Even if you haven't dealt with someone who has cancer, you might have seen the viral videos of the people, you know, who have defeated cancer ringing the bells, and all the nurses and everybody giving them the round of applause. That's what he's talking about. So while he was on stages ringing bells and people were getting to know him, his mom was defeating cancer, and he's just appreciative, grateful, all of that he got to see his mom ring that bell and defeat cancer. That's got to be such a blessing. I also love at the end of the last verse, he says, "I'm 2 weeks sober just to test it. I'm a vessel at most." So I think that's just somebody who's realizing, like, yo, I got free will in this bitch. You know what I mean? I'm a vessel. I don't know if he's spiritual, I don't know if he's religious or not, but he's realizing I got free will. I can quit whatever his vices are. I can quit that cold turkey for 2 weeks just to see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm 2 weeks sober just to test it. I'm a vessel at most. Get this shit off my chest, but please don't put an S on that hoe. So I think he's saying get this shit off his chest, maybe through music. Maybe he finds a release through recording music, as most artists do. Get this shit off my chest, but please don't put an S on that hoe. S on the chest meaning Superman. So basically, don't. I'm not your savior. I'm not your savior, as Kendrick Lamar would say. You know what I mean? Let me get this shit off my chest. Let me inspire you through the music. You know what I mean? But don't look at me as a savior. Jordan also has a project that's dropping this month, right at the end of this month, January 30th, called Backwards. I can't wait to check a full project of Jordan Ward's out. I might even do a couple reaction videos or review videos if I really mess with it. All right, got a couple more for you. Jill Scott, Pressha. I did not expect to be talking about some new Jill Scott in 2026, but she announced a new album that's coming, and she dropped off a few singles as well. Beautiful People, I think, was the first single she dropped off a couple weeks ago. And then the song I want to talk about today, which is called Pressha. The track is sultry, it's vulnerable. Jill is talking about a half-hearted romantic partner that she was once involved with, who is indifferent or tepid towards her because she doesn't fit the conventional American beauty standards. Doesn't want to be seen with her in the daytime, but when it's nighttime, he's gonna come knocking. But in typical Jill Scott fashion, her message in the end is basically your loss because I know my worth, and in the end, I know you're gonna regret losing me. Her new project, To Whom It May Concern, drops February 13th and is set to feature Tierra Whack, JID, Too Short, and many more. You know we're covering that one. And the last smoker of the week that I got for you today is ASAP Rocky, Helicopter. Now, I never thought I'd get on this camera and be talking about, yo, you gotta check out that new ASAP Rocky. But this new Helicopter joint, I'll admit when I'm wrong. And I might be wrong about Don't Be Dumb. This Helicopter joint is the second single from Don't Be Dumb. Much more traditional hip hop than the Punk Rocky joint was, but I was kind of expecting that given the name. And I did hear that this Don't Be Dumb album is gonna be all over the place as far as genres. So it's nice that he gave us a little more traditional hip hop for the second single, but I really enjoyed just the energy in this one. I don't think anybody is looking for an ASAP Rocky track to blow you away lyrically or anything like that. The energy aside, I love the music video. This music video might be music video of the year. I wish I could tell y'all to go check out my reaction to that video, but it got blocked to hell. They blocked it every damn second that they could. They blocked this ish. Speaking of Don't Be Dumb, if you're watching this video, then the album should already be out. So be sure to let me know how it sounded. Let me know some tracks that I need to do a reaction to down in the comments. This video should drop on a Friday, and since that's the case, a whole batch of new music will have already dropped by now. So let's look what's coming out tonight. Of course, we already talked about Don't Be Dumb. We got The Game and DJ Drama dropping Against the Grills, which I already thought was out, but I guess not. That might be worth checking out, a couple tracks at least. NBA Youngboy, I probably won't go out of my way to check anything from that album, but if there's something I should check out, definitely let me know. Wiz Khalifa, looks like he's dropping a new project called Chaotic. Definitely gotta make some time for some new Wiz Khalifa. Moving on to the singles, there's not a lot going on besides J. Cole, which he already dropped. Looks like Maxo Cream, Denzel Curry, and JPEG Mafia are dropping a joint. That's probably gonna sound crazy. That's definitely worth checking out. Looks like LMA is also dropping a single on the R&B side. That might be worth looking into. Not a lot to look forward to this week, but obviously this isn't everybody that's dropping. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and be here next week to see who I selected for the Smokers of the Week. And as always, if it's not too dope, then it's probably mids.